Hello and welcome to the very first edition of Health Matters in the year 2026. Coming to you live from Channels Television. A warm welcome to the program. I am Yomi Otaigbe. It's that time of the year again when some of the prominent messages on our social media feeds include captions such as New Year, New Me. Some people set the bar so high that they may need a ladder to reach it. Some make plans such as to quit sugar, alcohol, be physically more active and sleep 8 hours a night, all starting at once. But before the end of the first month of the year, the enthusiasm to keep up with the set goals may start fading. Why? My guest on the show today will answer these and other questions, plus share strategies to setting realistic health goals. Do stay with us on the show. Have you set your health goals for the year 2026, or are you in the process? Come closer as we look into why some of these plans may fall by the wayside. Is the challenge with your willpower or with the health plans? Today we'll be charting the path to setting realistic health goals and discuss how to build health habits that actually stick, not just for the first 31 days of the year, but healthy habits that will stay with us throughout the year. My guest on Health Matters today is a public health physician and Director of Public Health with the Lagos State Primary Healthcare Board, Dr. Shalom Oni. Thank you so much for your time and Happy New Year to you.
Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasant year for all of us. Looking forward to a fantastic time in 2026. And by the way, the topic we have for this year and for today's session is amazing, and it's a way to go for all Nigerians and all viewers across the globe. Okay, so let's start like this. Shed a little more light on what health goals or health plans are. Exactly. Just like we've set out today, that it's about setting realistic health goals. Number one, two keywords there: goals and what is realistic. Many people do not have goals. So at the end of the day, at the end of the month, at the end of the year, they achieve nothing. But I want to focus, because of our time, I want to focus more, put more emphasis on what is realistic. Many of us set health goals are not realistic, and we come back year in, year out doing the same thing, no much progress being made, the same complaints in the doctor's room every month, every year continues. So what is realistic? It's something that you have power over, something you have resources to undo, something you have energy for and the time to do. This is where many of us miss it, such that we don't get to improve in our health indices. Before setting an health goal for the year, look at what is realistic to you. What is realistic to Mr. A is what is realistic to Mr. B. What is realistic to family A is what family is family. But at the end of the day, all of us, based on our resources, our times, our energy, and what's available to us, we can always set a goal, that can improve our health indices for all the whole year. So that is what is important for us, and we're going to be delving into that much, as we go in this discussion. Okay, so if I decide now to set health goals, what should be in that my plan? Okay, we have to take it in terms of dietary, in terms of weight, in terms of other indices. But let me first of all say something here. Health begins with you, who you are, your frame, the person I'm looking at externally. Who are you? And that takes me to your optimum weight. What is your optimum weight as an adult? Are you in your optimum weight? So if you want to set health goals, you want to start out by saying, am I even okay based on my weight? The weight for my age and my height. They call it, the index is called basal metabolic index. If you go to the hospitals, the doctors or the BMI. BMI. So do I have the right BMI? Am I overweight or am I obese? The goal, or am I underweight? Am I underweight? The goal to optimum health starts with knowing, your basal metabolic index and working around it. So to set an health goal for the year, you have to look at your basal metabolic index, 18.5 to 24.9. That's the normal. So if you are around 26, you want to say, okay, I want to drop my basal metabolic index rate, by 0.5, every 3 months. That could be a realistic health goal. And once you achieve that, overall, it has been said that obesity is a causative agent for over 244 disease or disorders. Obesity, being obese. And you can live without being overweight also, you know. Responsible for over 24. Imagine you are able to achieve an optimum weight, then quite a number. You know, you have reduced your predisposing factor for quite a number of diseases. Some of them communicable, some of them not communicable. You know, so that's important. So you want to start from there on your basal metabolic index. Then you want to go to the ones that are also important and common in the environment. You talk about blood pressure, hypertension. Very, very important. What is your current blood pressure and what do you want to achieve? The normal blood pressure should be less than 120 over 80 millimeter mercury. So if you are achieving something, if you're having currently something like 140 over 190 over 90, you want to say, okay, can I reduce my systolic blood pressure just by 5 milliliters of mercury every 3 months? Don't say, oh, I want to move from 140, 90 down to 120, 80 next week. That's not realistic. You need to give it time, you know, and all of that. So that could be a good way, you know, to set a goal. For example, it has been said that reducing blood pressure just by 5 milliliters of mercury, especially the systolic blood pressure, reduces the risk of stroke by 14%. So a realistic health goals give you opportunity for you to have, you know, longevity, long-standing, you know, health, you know, achieve well-being, and also reduces the risk of frustration and burnt out in trying to achieve a net goal. So it has to be realistic. I've talked about blood pressure. Let me go to blood sugar. That's also common in this environment. In Africa, in the black. Blood sugar also. Now, you want to look at blood sugar, the common normal blood sugar of 60 to 99. Fasting blood sugar. Before eating in the morning, like 7 a.m., 12 hours fasting overnight, 7 a.m. in the morning, you are checking your blood sugar, and you want to have like a 60 to 99 milligram per dl. Now, if you're already having like 130, 140, then you want to say, okay, I want to move my fasting blood sugar, you know, by 5 milligram per dl, you know, every month. So you're looking at moving gradually from 135 down to 130, from 130 down to 25, and all of that. So these are realistic, you know, health, you know, goals. Now, we're talking about some of that. We talk about arthritis. Arthritis is also common, you know, in this side, you know, in Africans, and also among the middle age group, you know, among the elderly. How do I want to mitigate on arthritis? What do I have within my community, within my environment? Like, you know, it's not until when you register for gym. How many people can afford gym? You know, for those who can afford it, fantastic. But if you cannot, there are things within your locality that can help you, you know, to combat arthritis in terms of regular exercise. Within your home there, within your room there, you can put a mat on the floor, you know, and engage in certain aerobics, you know, that can that can help combat arthritis. So on the issue of mitigating against arthritis, how do I want to work on that? My exercise, do I want to do 5 hours exercise every Saturday or 5 hours every exercise every day? For example,
5 hours.
Exactly.
Doctor.
That's not realistic.
It's not realistic.
That's not realistic. So individuals say, okay.
We are trying to target at
exactly 30 minutes brisk walk every day. That would be more realistic. But some people say, oh, no, I must do 2 hours. I must do 4 hours. No. Some people say, okay, on weekends, I want to have it on weekends. But then
you even need to check your health before you engage in
all of that.
Yes.
So these are things we need to look at. Realistic health. Nobody can set that for you, but you need to look at yourself and say, okay, this is where I am. This is where I'm going. Can I actually achieve this? You know,
and
break
discuss
it down.
With your doctor.
Exactly. Discuss with your doctors, discuss with health workers, discuss with physicians. You know, and go for counseling. They will help you to form, you know, a target, a goal, a calendar that works, you know, best for you. Well, it's important that you don't copy someone else's, you know, program or health schedule. You know, health schedule and program is individualistic because the parameters, the physiology parameters are individualistic. You do the weight, the height, and every other thing is individualistic. So you want to look at all that. So these are things you need to look at. We talk about your height, your weight. We talk about your blood pressure, blood sugar. Then we go to health-seeking behavior. Generally, in this part of the world, we have a very poor health-seeking behavior. Many of us do not go to an accredited health facility to have our parameters checked, our blood samples, blood sampled and all that things sampled, for us to look at all of these things. And what health-seeking behavior, poor health-seeking behavior does is that it allows, disease and illness to creep on people, and before you know it, illnesses have gone to an advanced stage before begin to detect. By the time people are detecting, going to the hospital to present, symptomatically, some of them are already gone to an advanced, especially in case of cancer. So, but what health-seeking behavior, a good health-seeking behavior does is to nip those illnesses in the bud before they even show their signs, while they are still, pickable at the reading level, not even the signs yet. You can pick them. Doctor say, hey, something is going on here. Let's go to deep of it, and from there, the right treatment, the right therapy is taken up.
So, doctor, I asked the question, when I was introducing the show. Why is it that, some of these goals, we all sometimes really want good things for ourselves. Why is it that these goals are not sustainable for some people, or majority of the people? I don't have the statistics now. Why does it feel like, okay, I'm trying to lose this weight, and it's looking like I'm not making progress? What could be behind it? And so that, our viewers watching today, they know that, okay, this is what I'm doing wrong, this is what I can do right. Okay,
let me start with this first of all, before I go to the environmental, because there are a lot of factors. Let me start with you, the individual, first of all. When you want something bad enough, you go all out to get it. If you set a goal and the goal is not motivating you, you have already failed before you embark on it. So, you must have enough information. Many people just want to do certain things, not knowing the reason why they want to do what they want to do. Information, the right knowledge, the right statistics fires passion within your body to want to see how you want to achieve that goal, because you know what is waiting. Look at the indices of cancers, breast cancer, ovarian cancer, and all of that. Look at the spike of diabetes and hypertension, and stroke. Number of people coming down with stroke, kidney failures, and all of that. You want to look at all of these indices, and that, triggers passion within you for you to go through, your goals. That's very important.
That's the willpower.
Lack of adequate information, adequate knowledge, then two, the willpower. Lack of, self-motivation, adequate self-motivation. So there are two. But beyond that, let's now go to our environment. There are quite a number of environmental factors. We must admit this. For example, we want to look at food hygiene. It is improper, it is not possible to have an optimum weight without food safety. And talking about food safety, the things you need to eat that are hygienic, how readily available are they? How readily, are they within your grasp? If they are not there, you're going to struggle. Because to achieve optimum weight, somebody said, you are what you eat. You cannot separate optimum health from adequate food intake. So, and those food that we need, some of them are expensive. You're talking about buying fruits, vegetables, we're talking about, fish.
But they can't be as expensive as having to manage a disease.
Exactly. So you want to look at that.
It's the choice.
It's the choice, really, because you're talking about staying alive. Can you quantify being alive? No. So whatever you sacrifice to put into getting this food, it's very, very important. I'm talking about food hygiene, and food safety. Now, other environmental, we're talking about work schedules. Sometimes you don't plan for certain things. Work schedules come popping up, timelines at place of work, changing, the course of your week, changing the course of your day. These are things you need to look at too, because we are in a capital market. The labor market is overwhelmed, and we are in the survival of the fittest. So sometimes you have organizations who don't really, put into consideration the welfare of the staff. And as a staff, you don't want to lose your job. Your job comes first, because that is what puts bread on the table for the family. So whatever job your job throws at you, you're going to take it. Even if it's going to be at the detriment of your healthy routines, you have to take it. For example, they call for extra shifts. Oh, we need to go through extra shift, and to get this done, you have to do. But then maybe something is suffering at the other end of the day. Who knows? Who cares about that?
So you're talking about, in the midst of all of this, a person trying to look out for himself or herself.
Exactly.
Finding time to rest.
Exactly.
Which is very key,
Very
because
key.
you need to be okay for you also to go to work.
A healthy workforce is an healthy organization. We bring an healthy organization. So if you're not okay, you know, in your health, then how can you give your best at work?
So prioritizing your rest is also very key.
Very key.
In the plans for the goals that we set.
Exactly. Very
okay.
key.
Now, I have set the goals and I'm working on it, and sometimes I fall by the wayside. Should I just remain like that and say, you know what, it has happened, I can't keep up, I have missed out on some of these things? Or should I look at the gains and then pick up myself and say...
Exactly, that's what. You just pick yourself up and keep running. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. You pick yourself up and keep on running. As long as we are still on this half.
So if I miss out on having my exercise in the morning, I can try to make up in the evening.
For it in the evening.
If I miss out throughout the day for today, I can try the
following
next
day. Go on. You know, and you maybe you're in the festive period, you indulge in certain things, you're not able to take soda, you know, sugary things and all of that. Now that you have engaged on that, indulge yourself in that, now go back to your routine. You know, you must forgive yourself. You know, in fact, it has even been said that in having a healthy routine that works, sometimes you need to indulge once in a while, you know, to tap yourself on the back and say, yes, I'm doing well. So look at this season, and see as, you know, those seasons as part of what you need to do to, you know, to just, you know, treat yourself a little, then you move on. So don't be discouraged, don't feel guilty, just pick yourself up and keep on pressing. As long as we are on this heart, we're going to continue to have health goals, you know, and we're going to keep on, you know, reaching out to those goals and smashing those goals. That's very, very important. So your motivation, your drive must be very high.
Consistency.
It must be very high. Your determination must be very high. That come what may. Maybe, you know, work took you somewhere, or maybe a family issue. You move to an environment where to actually, you know, embark on this, you know, on this routine is very difficult. You know, you must be strong enough that, okay, when I'm out of this environment or out of this season, I go back to things I used to do before. You know, and that's very important. You know, to know.
Now let's touch on something that would seem like it's common. Self-medication. You know, I'm having headache and I just think that the next thing is to reach for analgesic or something. What should we do in that line in terms of ensuring that we don't just take our health for granted? If you feel certain thing, you know, having to speak with those that could direct you in the right way to go.
Yeah, so that's very important. We have quite a number of drug abuse, you know, ongoing, and also self-medication that's ongoing, picking drugs over the counter, and that, you know, should be discouraged, you know, because we have individuals taking drugs, you know, for something different, you know, and this is where you need to see a doctor, to consult a doctor, you know, where the proper diagnosis can be made before you go into medications. There are several reasons why an individual could have an headache. Malaria is not even the only cause of headache. Several reasons. An headache could be a cause of an impending cardiovascular disease. You know, an headache could be as a result of lack of sleep. You know, so not everything is malaria, not everything is typhoid. So this is where you need to talk with a doctor. And you know, we look at our environment now. We have, you know, we have telemedicines. We have the social media apps where you can utilize, you know, and have the video, you know, interaction with doctors. You know, even if you cannot go to the hospitals, you can interact with a doctor, telemedicine and all of that, you know, so take advantage of all of that, you know, to see a doctor and let there be a proper diagnosis. Questions will be asked, and what we call clerking, where the doctor actually sits down with you and takes your history, asks you several things that are connected, that may be connected with, you know, with the ongoing symptoms of illness, you know, and come with diagnosis and differential diagnosis.
And some people will say, you know, to go to the hospital, before you see the doctor, you pay. But, you know, there are doctors, too, at the grassroots level.
Exactly, grassroots
health
level.
centers.
Exactly, primary centers. Now, Lagos State has done very well in this regard. You know, we have quite a number of, you know, primary centers in Lagos State where individuals, you know, can go to, you know, and some of them operate 8 hours, some of them operate 24 hours. You know, you are going to see a doctor or a highly skilled health worker, you know, that can do your vitals, that can listen to you, you know, and that can tell you probably things that might be going on in your body and direct you properly. Instead of going to the pharmacy, you know, or going to, you know, nearest chemist to pick up medications, and, you know, we have suffered quite a number of that. So many casualties, you know, because of drug over the counter.
Doctor, we need to go now, but if our viewer would have to take anything from what we've said so far, it will be consistency in whatever goals is set.
And yes, it must be realistic. something that you can achieve. You have the time
Don't
for
think
it.
because A is doing this,
Exactly.
then I must do it.
No.
It should be something tailored
To
for
your
you.
own needs. Exactly. Then don't underrate the issue of your optimum weight. Very, very important. Health begins with you, and you must know that you have the right weight. Then the blood pressure, the blood sugars, and in good health-seeking behavior. Check into the hospitals and clinics once in 3 months, to look at your vitals.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for coming on this afternoon. We've been having a chat with a public health physician and Director of Public Health with the Lagos State Primary Healthcare Board, Dr. Shalom Oni. Thank you for your time.
It's nice having me here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And just before we go, let's see the latest stories from our news corner.
The Nigerian Medical Association Lagos State chapter is calling for better remuneration, training and retraining of healthcare workers at all levels of government. The chairman of the NMA Lagos State chapter, Dr. Babajide Said, while highlighting what the association wants the government to focus on in the year 2026, said this step will help in curbing brain drain in the country's health sector. The NMA also calls for more focus on primary healthcare system, the provision of affordable and qualitative medical care. The association adds that the Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Pate, should look into the prevention of strike action in Nigeria's healthcare sector. Children under the age of 5 are being screened for malnutrition in Saminaka community, Gusau local government area of Zamfara State. The house-to-house screening exercise organized by a non-governmental organization is aimed at identifying children suffering from malnutrition and for onward referral of affected children to nearby government healthcare facilities for free treatment. According to UNICEF, out of 1.2 million children in the state, an estimated 250,000 are currently battling severe acute malnutrition, a situation requiring urgent and coordinated intervention.
The percentage of malnourished children is very alarming, going for the stunting rate, which is in high significant rate. But the Western rate now reduces to almost 8.3 for Zamfara State. Eradicating malnutrition, it involves multi-sectorial approach. So that's why we as a foundation, we are trying to see how we are going to put in our best in order to crush this malnutrition. We are not even driving it away. We are crushing malnutrition in Nigeria.
Finally, the World Health Organization will be holding a virtual strategic planning meeting of network of ear and hearing care, collaborating centers and organizations in the last week of January 2026. At the meeting, the World Health Body will present an overview of its ear and hearing program, share its current activities and seek engagement in key initiatives. The World Health Organization reports that over 430 million people globally live with this disabling hearing loss, and that by 2050, over 700 million people will have this condition. Africa alone has about 40 million people with hearing loss, a prevalence rate of 3.6%. The WHO program on deafness and hearing loss seeks to make ear and hearing care a reality for all by integrating services within national health systems in line with the principles of universal health coverage.
There you have it. As we wrap up the show, remember, health is not a sprint that ends on January 31st. It's a lifelong practice of showing up for yourself, even in the smallest of ways. Thank you for your time on Health Matters. Do keep it locked on Channels Television. I am Yomi Otaigbe.